All right, so what's up, guys? So we're out here on another run, out here continuing our business, right? Doing our business like a dog that we see over there. And you know, for you, sometimes, and it's happened to me, it's probably happened to like everyone, is they've fallen off track in something, but in particularly fitness, right? When you're working out, it's so easy, you know, to take a few days off, and those days turn into weeks and months and gosh, even years, you know, where you don't do anything, right? That's, to me now, looking back and thinking of that, it's like a horrible thought. It's like I can imagine myself going 1, let alone 2 days without a workout. I think I'd go crazy. And you know, part of it is figuring out, you know, how to defeat those emotions, right, that may pull me off track, because you know, it may appear that I'm on a track right now, I'm running towards wherever it is that I'm going, but in regards to my overall fitness objectives, I'm on a course, right? I'm not leaving it. I'm continuing to advance to my objective, right? And that is to get in the best shape of my life, right? And that goal will change every day, but you know, we're still chasing the dragon, but in a good way. So first tip in regards to staying on track in your fitness journey is to have a schedule, right? So many of us forget that. So many people, in our voice, so many people just simply don't want to do that, right? They don't want to write down what it is that they plan to do today. They just leave it to chance, right? That's essentially what happens, you know, if you don't make that conscious effort, you know, in doing that, in making that agenda for you. You know, a big thing you can do is buy one of those notebooks, right? It might sound hacky, like I'm old school. I prefer that over having to write it down on my iPhone, my calendar. I like to physically grab a pencil and write down what it is that I have to do, and grab that pencil again and check it off when I'm done. For you, you can just do it in your phone, right? It doesn't have to be so complicated, or even having to go to the store and spend money on that. But for so many people, that can be hard, right? That can be difficult, and I don't blame you, right? Because it takes time to plan stuff. It takes time to think and write it down. But you really have to consider that if you don't, you're wasting even more time that could be productive, right? Think about it, that 5 minutes you spend making that plan and agenda is gonna save you literally hours in your day. Because if you sit around and procrastinate and not think, you know, you're not gonna do anything. Hey, you're just gonna sit and do nothing. And that's tip number 2, and that is to defeat procrastination. Because so many of us struggle with that, right? In all aspects of life, right? It could start out as a childhood habit, right? In school where you didn't want to do the work. And it could bleed into when you're having to work out, right? You have these goals and you want to hit them. But, you know, for so many of us, it's so easy to push it aside and not do the work. So really think about that and consider, hello, as we were saying, and we're doing a little bit of tricks. So yeah, man, don't procrastinate, because it's so easy to develop that habit, right, where you're not wanting to do your homework, right? The teacher gives you a whole month to do a project and you're waiting until the last day. And for some, it's the last day at midnight. I was one of those people for a short period of time. And really, it's almost as if you're chasing, you know, you don't necessarily like to do it, but you like the adrenaline, the pressure. You almost need that to get going, because for so many of us, they lack that motivation, right? That drive to get there. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But in regards to procrastination, that's essentially what it boils down to, is you don't have motivation to get there, right? You don't understand what you're doing this for. And your mind will search for that, but it'll procrastinate. It'll wait till the last second. And then your purpose, your point will be to finish this as quickly as possible, because you're so worried and anxious. If you don't do it, the negative consequences, right? You're almost reacting to the negativity as opposed to the positivity, right? Of how good it would feel to do this today and right now and get it out of the way. Because for so many of us, it's so easy to neglect that, right? And not really think about that and worry about it, right? For so many of us, it can be hard, right? It can almost seem unnecessary, right? It can be tempting to want to go to the beach instead of doing your paper or your project or whatever it is you're doing, or in this case, working out. Same knowledge applies. And the third thing that we are thinking about is in regards to the motivation, right? Your purpose as far as why you're doing what you're doing. And for so many of us, it's so hard to find, right? It's so hard to find that deeper meaning, that reason as far as why you're doing what you're doing. And I don't blame you, right? It takes some deep thinking, right? You really have to sit down in silence and measure what it is that you want and how you're gonna get it, right? It sounds simple, but it's not. And it may take a couple efforts, right, to get there, to really have something down that inspires you, because that's what's ultimately it's going to come down to. Because in fitness, when you get off track, it's when you don't have a reason why. You don't understand why it is that you're at the gym, and your mind can rationalize it as something unnecessary. And for all of us, pretty much, it's super necessary, right? It helps not only you look better, but your mind raises your self-esteem. It gives you something to look forward to, right? Who wouldn't want to have that awesomeness in their life? But if they don't understand that, they're not going to do it. So really figure out what your motivation is, right? Is it because maybe people called you too small when you were little, right? Maybe a coach didn't think you were big enough and strong enough for the football team, right? We're just thinking of possible examples here, but really think, right? They don't all have to be negative, right? Some could be that you were always praised as this big, strong person, right? And you only want to keep doing so. You want to continue that legacy, right? That good reputation, right? You almost have an honor you have to live up to, right? Like a Navy SEAL or a Marine, right? They have to live up to their badge, right, of honor, right? If they don't live up to it, then they can have their titles stripped away, right? You want that title of being a fit person, and if you fall off track, you're gonna lose it. Sorry, but you are. And the fourth tip in regards to staying on track, in regards to your fitness journey, right? Keeping it moving, keeping it going, and that is to be progress oriented, right? Really think about what you're getting, right? The pounds you're shedding, right? How many pounds you want to lose, right? Don't have a general goal. Don't fall into that trap of, oh, I want to be toned. Oh, I want to bulk up, right? Although those may be great ideas, when it comes to fitness, you really want, detailed objectives here. What body fat do you want to get to, right? How much muscle mass do you want to have, right? You can measure those things, right? Figure out ways to do that, right? It's not only just weight, right? Weight's a great starting point, but the weight, you don't know if it's fat, if it's muscle, if it's water, right? There's a lot of question marks there. So the more you're able to keep track of how you're going, and if you don't lose progress of taking your progress, and that funny as that sounds, you're gonna fall off course, but you're not really gonna be aware of what it is you're doing. You have to be aware. You have to know what's going on, right, and what your goal is for every day, which is gonna come from having those detailed long-term objectives, which is lose 25 pounds, right? Lose 3% body fat, not get to 3, but lose 3, right? You have 15%, you want to go to 12. Good. Have goals like that, and when you get to 12, ask yourself how you can get to 10, right? And 8. Wouldn't that be amazing? So really think about those 4 things. You will be able to stay on track. So without further ado, say thank you very much and goodbye.